The Miami Heat have lost 2 straight games in New York, one to the Knicks on Friday and Saturday against the Brooklyn Nets. They've also lost Dru Smith, the third-string point guard, for the season due to an ACL injury. So on today's show, we break down some players that the Heat could go after in free agency, in-house, and on the trade market to potentially bolster this point guard rotation. That is today's show on the Heat Report. I am Nick Roloff. Before we dive into it, though, we are in the midst of a sub-battle for the month of November. Only about 4 days left in November, and we are in a tight one with Knicks now. Like I mentioned, we lost to the Knicks on Friday. I cannot stand to lose them on YouTube as well. Hit that sub button. You also get the best Heat news and rumors, as well as watch parties throughout the rest of the NBA season. All right, now let's get to the news, because this came out I think last Friday, that Dru Smith has been diagnosed with a third-degree ACL sprain. Not a torn ACL or an MCL, just a sprain, but he is out for the remainder of the season. I've been critical of Dru Smith, but he did provide the Heat with some point guard depth as that third guy behind Kyle Lowry and Josh Richardson, and he actually gave some good minutes as well defensively. Struggles offensively, but played well on the defensive end of the court when he did get his numbered calls. And with him gone, the Heat's point guard depth, or just guard depth in general, is very, very thin. I mean, Josh Richardson is your backup point guard right now, and he has really never done that in the past 3 or 4 seasons. He did it when he was with the Heat in his first stint, but now that Richardson's back in that role, there has been some struggles. He's been good scoring the basketball, but he's really not that prototypical point guard. You look at the full Heat guard list right now, it is really only Kyle Lowry, J. Rich, and Tyler Herro. One problem, though. Herro has been out for the past 2.5 weeks and is probably going to come back in a week and a half, but you still have to weather the storm of no guards. So where do you go from here? Do they make a move now, or do they wait closer to the trade deadline? But either way, they're putting together a melting pot of guards that really don't have experience being a true point guard outside of Kyle Lowry, and I think you've seen the Heat offense suffer from that, especially late in games. So my idea is that the Heat actually do go out and replace Dru Smith. They either trade for someone or sign someone in free agency, or maybe promote someone within the organization. We'll get to that later in today's show to fill the vacancy of Dru Smith. Because say what you want about Dru, he at least has experience playing point guard and could run the Heat's offense. They're going to have to find someone to do that in replace of Smith, as he is out for the year. How about the number one option, Tyus Jones? And this would happen via a trade with the Washington Wizards. They are as bad as it gets. 2-14. They actually play the Pistons tonight in a battle of 2-14 teams. It's just ugly basketball, man. If you're watching that, salute to you. But the reason why I bring up Tyus Jones, the Heat have actually been linked to Jones as a trade partner this early in the season. Shout out to Heavy.com and Sean Deveney with this. He kind of mentioned the Heat in relation to Jones. One name floated in connection with Miami could gain some traction, according to execs around the NBA, Wizards guard Tyus Jones. If you're the Heat, you're looking at him when it comes to add a guard, which everyone expects they'll do. He's tough. He'll come off the bench. He'll do whatever the role you want filled is. He's a bulldog. And I don't disagree with that. For the Wizards, he's been a bright spot. He's played in 16 games, so he's been there for almost every game for the Wizards this season. And he is putting up decent numbers in a low-usage role. As a backup point guard, he is averaging 10.9 points per game. That is impressive stuff. He is a perfect backup point guard. And if you saw the numbers on screen, he's also shooting 50% from the field and 34% from beyond the arc. And that number from 3 is also a bit lower than usual. That number is usually around the 36, 37 point mark. So you're getting, a good playmaker on that backup role. You're also getting a good defender, a good IQ guy, and someone who can knock down the open shot in catch-and-shoot scenarios. Tyus Jones wouldn't cost you that much, maybe 1 or 2 second-round picks plus salary filler. Someone I have my eye on for now and maybe in February at that NBA trade deadline. But be real with me. Who do you want the Heat to trade for to replace Dru Smith, or just in general to add to this roster? They're 10-6 right now. They need, or 10-7, excuse me. They need to start making a push to get a top seed in that Eastern Conference. Could that be maybe a guy like Jaden Ivey, a top 5 pick from a year ago, playing for the Detroit Pistons? It's an interesting situation down in Detroit. I mentioned they're 2-14 as well. Bad basketball in the Motor City. But the thing that makes this possible is that ESPN insider Brian Windhorst came out with a quote that says, I don't think Jaden Ivey is really thrilled about coming off the bench. And if you're asking me, well, he was a top 5 pick last year. He's coming off the bench. Yeah, the Pistons are actually starting Cade Cunningham. That makes sense. Number 1 overall pick from 2 or 3 years ago, and he's been terrific. But the guy starting alongside him, Killian Hayes, an absolute bum, and they put Jaden Ivey to the bench. And you look at Ivey's numbers, in 12 games played, so he hasn't been there for all 16, 12.5 points. He's shooting really well from the field at 52.9%, struggles from beyond the arc. But the thing that finds me the most intriguing about Jaden Ivey, last season, as a rookie, he played 31.1 minutes per game. That makes sense for a top 5 pick. This season, in the 12 games he has played, only 23 minutes a night. He has seen a reduced role on the offensive end and just in the rotation. And could the Pistons be already looking to move on from the former top 5 pick out of Purdue? It's possible. But one thing that also intrigues me about Ivey is his improvement on the defensive end. In this year, opponents guarded by Jaden Ivey are shooting 37% from the field. 28% on catch-and-shoot situations, 22% when they're driving inside for a floater, and 38% at the rim. The point guard, the former Boilermaker, who has all the athleticism in the world, is playing good defense thus far this season. If he can couple that with improved three-point shooting, I would love the Heat to take a flyer on Ivey to not only be the backup point guard for Kyle Lowry this season, but also potentially the point guard of the future, because this guy's got a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, and I believe under Eric Spoelstra, maybe he could really unlock a new part of his game. We're going to get to 3 more replacements for Dru Smith through the trade market and potentially in-house. But first, we are sponsored by Factor. New sponsor alert. Woo! This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. I definitely need it on NBA watch parties. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tracking all your holiday to-dos. My favorite meal is the loaded bacon shredded chicken. It is just fantastic. And you can skip the stress of meal prepping over the holidays with Factor. Choose from 35-plus weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences. All delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. I don't know if you guys could tell, probably not, but I've been working on my fitness, and this is also another way I do that. Looking for calorie-conscious options over the holidays that also taste great? Try delicious, dietitian-approved, calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. Factor, my favorite place to get healthy meals. So head to factormeals.com/NBAchat50 and use code NBAchat50 to get 50% off. That's code NBAchat50 at factormeals.com/NBAchat50. Get that 50% off today. All right, moving on. Russell Westbrook. Yes, Brody maybe could be an option for the Miami Heat. And the reason why I think he could be up for grabs on the trade market, well, he has been pushed to the bench ever since the Clippers traded for James Harden. Westbrook got out to a fantastic start in the new year. He was looking like old Russell Westbrook next to Paul George and Kawhi, but ever since the Beard joined LAC, it has been a little rough. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, before Harden, Westbrook was averaging 15 points a night, damn near 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, while shooting 51.6% from the field and 38.9% from beyond the arc. After Harden, 10 games played, 10.7 points a game. Those rebounds and assist numbers take a hit, but the efficiency has been horrific. 39% from the field and now 20% from 3. The reason why I find this intriguing to me is that it just shows me that even in his old age and as he's aging, Russell Westbrook is still better with the ball in his hands, making decisions in the flow of the offense. Harden obviously is going to demand the ball and he play makes for others. Well, that's not Westbrook's game to play off ball and catch and shoot scenarios, which is why his efficiency has taken a dip as his usage rate has went down. Because usually usage rate goes down, efficiency goes up. But some may question the fit with the Heat for Westbrook. I think he actually does fit because he could come off the bench, but it would be a better fit for him in Miami than the Clippers because he would be able to run an entire second unit in the 305 and push the pace. If there's anything that Russell Westbrook does well, it's get out in transition and go from one end on the defensive side straight to the rim. And what do the Heat lack? Pace. Kyle Lowry, he will be good at it sometimes, and even Josh Richardson does this. They slow down the offense too much. And if you remember the issues in New York against the Knicks last Friday night on ESPN, where they blew a 21-point second-half lead, Erik Spoelstra, after the game, said that they did not get into their offense quick enough, which was leading to bad shots, turnovers, and which is why they got outscored by double digits in the fourth quarter for what felt like the fifth time this season. Westbrook would not allow that to happen because as soon as he gets the rebound or outlet pass, it's full blaze ahead to the offensive side. And even if he doesn't go to the rim and finish, at least it will force the defense to get back, and the Heat would be able to get into their offense much sooner and get that flow and ball movement Spoelstra loves much quicker. I think it makes a lot of sense for Westbrook to potentially come to Miami, and you'd be able to buy low on him as well. Just like Tyus Jones, maybe 1 or 2 second-round picks in salary filler at most. Westbrook is not a hot commodity, and now that the Clippers have Harden, Westbrook's kind of on the out. So let me know, be Pat Riley for me. Would you trade for Russell Westbrook? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm very intrigued to see if you guys are with me on Brody. Let me know your answers in the comment section. Like I said, I'm typing those Ys. A familiar face, Goran Dragic. The only guy on this list that's in the free agency pool right now. And listen, I love the Dragon. I just don't know if he really fits the Miami Heat. Sure, he's really good friends with Jimmy Butler, and he has chemistry with Adebayo and some other members of the Miami Heat, but it's been a very steep decline for the left-hander. I mean, he was really good for Miami after they traded for him in that 2014-2015 season, but he really has taken down. Like, look at the numbers. 2019-20, terrific. He was unbelievable for the Heat. Last 2 seasons, usage rate down, just battled injuries, not able to stay on the court, and he's just so old where he's just a cone on defense. And that's why, as much as I love the Dragon, I love Dragic, I just don't like the fit. I don't think it's time for a reunion of that sort. The Heat actually need someone to help push the pace. Goran Dragic will not do that. And yes, he does have experience and loves the Heat culture, likes Jimmy Butler, likes Tyler Herro, likes Bam Adebayo. You have an old point guard in Kyle Lowry. Your backup is still not really a true point guard. You're going to need someone that is young, athletic, can defend, and actually gets into the offense that the Heat likes to run. I don't think Dragic is your guy. But if you're thinking young, athletic, maybe it's our guy, RJ Hampton, the only in-house option that really makes sense in my eyes. He's currently in the G League on a 2-way deal, but he's also coming back from a knee injury as well. And I think this is the most likely scenario if we're going to be all honest with ourselves. Are the Heat going to trade or sign someone right now? Unlikely. Will they trade for someone in February or late January around the trade deadline? Yes. But right now, as we're currently sitting, I think RJ Hampton is the most obvious option that will actually happen. Like I mentioned, he is on a 2-way deal and is working his way back from a knee injury. When he does return, I could totally see that 2-way deal get upgraded to an active contract since Dru Smith is out for the season, and maybe RJ Hampton, the young man who was drafted in the first round about 2 years ago, maybe he's the guy that can be that third point guard for Miami. And I'd like to see RJ get a shot, dude. He's 6'4", he's lengthy, he can defend. The offense is the question mark, but there's no denying the measurables on RJ. Like I mentioned, lengthy, he can get in the passing lanes, cause deflections, he can rebound for his size at 6'4". If he just improves that three-point shot, I could absolutely see him being someone the Heat use and utilize well down the stretch of this season. I think RJ is the most likely. I'd also like to see him get a first crack before they end up making a trade for one of those 3 guys that I potentially mentioned. That's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate you guys sticking around for the entirety of this show. Like always, we're live almost multiple times a week for NBA watch parties. Also, daily news and rumors surrounding your Heat. So join the channel today. You won't regret it. And hopefully I see you live tomorrow for a nice little watch party against the Bucks on Tuesday night on TNT. Big game. Hopefully I see you there.